Hey, Ari, you ready to run? Let's go. Come on. Good morning. I'm out for a run with my dog Ari, and it's a beautiful spring morning. That sound in the background, you're probably hearing two things: the wind in the trees and the sound of water running, and it's so welcome after such a long winter. We have had literally 7 months of freezing and snowing, and just feeling a little burdened by just the fact that life is a little harder in the winter. So when spring comes, even though we don't love the mud, the sound of the running water, the spring runoff, is really welcome. Everything's kind of brown, and you can still see a lot of snow left to melt, but I'm inspired to paint by what I see beside me, the running water. It's beautiful, it's melodic. When I get back to the studio, I'm totally going to paint it and share what I've got. I'm going to take some video, I'm going to take some photos, and I'm going to use those and my memories and feelings about the spring and the runoff to create paintings that I'm proud of and happy with and love. So that's what I'm going to do after I get my exercise. So before I start working on my spring runoff paintings that I've been waiting to work on, I'm going to warm up a little bit. And I always warm up because I want to get in the right mindset and not ruin a painting because I'm thinking about laundry. Raw sienna. The shape of ice and ripples. Painting this kind of runny ditch water really makes me think about the beauty of these neutral colors. I have so many opportunities. Here I get to explore mud, Just seeing what comes to life. I want to paint a big, massive painting. I'm excited about it. I have these studies that I've been doing of the spring runoff, and as I've been working on this, I've been getting more and more abstract. I started with something that was fairly detailed here, trying to show more of a landscape feel. And as I went on and moved through the process, I started to get a little more abstract and looser. This one I haven't finished yet, actually. And this one I really love, and I want it to be my momentum, my impetus for the next variation. My stretched paper here has dried really nice and tight, so I have a beautiful surface to work on. From here, I could just start painting, but I want to have a little bit of unexpectedness on the page. So we're going to go with some water. So I have wet areas and dry areas. So we're going to start with some Prussian green. And I'm going to double load my brush. So I'm going to put Prussian green on one side of the brush, and I'm going to put some of this Delft blue on the other side. And then when I place it, well, you can see what starts to happen.
Beautiful stuff.
So when I start a big abstract painting like this, moving from a realistic reference photo and start to think about getting a little deeper, it needs to not feel like a big transition. I really try to almost trick myself into that serious painting, because without that, all that preparatory work, those exercises that I've done, they're not really going to matter if all of a sudden my mindset changes and, oh, here's something really important now that I'm going to do. So I want to feel like I'm just seamlessly continuing on from those early sketches. I'm pulling from each of those sketches the things that worked in them and just setting aside the things that didn't, trying to compile it all into a finished painting. As I'm doing this, I might start with the thought that I love that kind of circular shape flowing downward from the water. So that's what I'm building off of. And then in addition to working from that memory, I have to also look ahead and look, well, not even ahead, but look at the right now. What's happening on the paper and how do I respond to it? So then I don't get to have a finished idea in mind. If I'm really committed to a certain look and a completed vision in my head, I'm not going to be responsive to the beautiful things that are happening in the right now. And the right now, I think, is where your heart really gets engaged and gets excited. Watching for that magic doesn't happen right away either. Some days I show up and I work and it's all work and it doesn't feel like magic. And that's okay. I keep coming back because I know the magic will show up, and it's so addictive to find that place where everything's going right, where everything feels perfect, and you know you're not going to put a brush stroke wrong. And it doesn't happen very often, maybe even just like once a year. And for me, that's a lot of hours of painting where I was doing the work and not seeing the magic. I was seeing promises of magic, glimpses of little moments, but for an entire painting to come together in that beautiful, effortless way, that doesn't happen very often. I'm actually a pretty practical person. I believe in hard work, and I believe in setting goals, making lists, in not giving too much credence to your emotions, and that's worked well for me in setting aside negative self-talk, which can really be damaging to an artist. Learning how to shake off rejection, which is also a struggle for every artist. We all deal with rejection. As a practical person who doesn't put too much stock in emotions, it's always a little bit weird for me to talk about the spiritual side of painting, that painting from your heart. But your emotions and your feelings show up through your brush. And that means if you're painting with fear, that's going to be revealed, and that's not a very pretty thing to look at. Most of us kind of shy away from that. Here I am working in a visual medium. The spiritual, the unseen, the emotion and the passion that you put into your artwork is actually what matters the most. And that means being very in tune and watchful to what's happening on the paper for me. I look and I respond and I react. And it can feel very self-indulgent because you're chasing those little joys right across the paper, because that's what my paintings are about. It's about joy and strength and purpose. And you know, I can't draw peace, but when it pours out through my brush onto my paper, if people feel that, that is a huge reward, and creates these lasting connections with my community of fellow watercolor lovers. I'm very excited to share with everyone. And that's why I talk so much about mindset when I'm teaching, because it matters so much. It shows in our paintings, whether we are aware of it or not. So I haven't continued painting in my runoff series since spring when I started this series. I really haven't touched it since then. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because I'm really happy with this full sheet. This is the one that I think says what I want to say about the beauty of that running water in the spring. There's some gorgeous fluidity. There's a little shimmer from the gold powder that I used. There's light and dark values. There's that little twig coming out there. Lots of things to make me happy in this painting. And so I'm not feeling like there's any glaring holes with it. So that means I get to love it and hold on to it and maybe frame it and decide that my series is complete for now. Now this has been hanging or leaning against the wall in my studio now, and I'm not unhappy with it, but I don't feel like it's finished. So I refuse to feel let down or demoralized by the fact that I'm not absolutely in love with this painting. I'm not counting the cost of how much that sheet of paper cost and how much time it took me to stretch it on those stretcher bars and how much time I spent painting, and that was all a waste. There's a difference between cost and value. And value is what I get whenever I spend time painting, regardless of the outcome, because it happens in my head, it happens in my heart, and it comes out in future paintings. I am not making one painting. I'm creating a body of work, and that body of work is built upon the paintings that came before it.